All right, everyone, we'll get started now. We do have quite a small group with us, but nonetheless, a intimate group, meaning that we'll have quite a lot of room for in-depth discussion as we go along. But I think we can get started now. Welcome to the AfriFood Links Network Cities webinar series. Today's topic is on city pathways to reducing food loss and waste, lessons from practice. I am Joko Duguya and I work at ICLE Africa as a professional officer in the Urban Systems Unit, working on the AfriFood Links project. Today's session will be a deep dive into this topic of food loss and waste, which continues to be quite a big challenge for many of the cities that we engage with across the world, but also quite especially within the African continent. And so this is quite an important topic for us to be discussing and to be exchanging and sharing insights from different contexts. It's a topic that is also one of priority and important for advancing sustainable development, as well as achieving various goals, including the Sustainable Development Goals. So in today's session, we're going to have quite a focus on learning from two contexts. And we will start the session off with hearing from our colleague, Sarah, who is also from ICLE Africa, who will give some context to this topic and what we will be discussing. And she will be followed by two quite interesting speakers who will give us insights from Kenya and Jordan. And these would be speakers Michael Oloko, who will share from the Kenyan context, and Marco Demilato, who will be sharing insights from the Jordan. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Sarah to get us started and to also at some point just introduce or relay to the next speakers that will follow. Sarah will be our moderator for today's session, so we're really looking forward to her guidance and discussion throughout. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Joe. I'll start off by just sharing my presentation before I get into introductions. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah Nakalila. I'm a professional officer for urban food systems. And last year, I had the pleasure of working on research in collaboration with FAO, research focusing on the Mediterranean area, Northern Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa regarding cases that relate to food loss and waste. Through this work, that's where we interviewed a couple of leading urban practitioners, including Dr. Michael Oloko and Marco de Milato. And through interviewing these urban practitioners who are leading these cases or these projects, it helped us assemble about 10 case studies that show how cities and local actors are responding to food loss and waste in completely different contexts. Today, I'll provide a framing for why food loss and waste matters and why urban practitioners or urban actors are uniquely positioned to lead change before we dive into the two of those cases, focusing on Kenya and Jordan. All right, so Joe, could you let me know if the title is showing?
Yes, right now we see the slide. What exactly is food loss and waste?
Okay, thank you. Right, so what do we mean by food loss and food waste? Food loss refers to, according to the FAO definitions, food loss refers to unintentional reductions in the quantity or quality of food along the supply chain, from production through post-harvest handling, storage, and distribution, but before food reaches retail. while food waste happens at retail, in food services, and within households, where food that is still edible is discarded. Globally, the scale is substantial. Around 13% of all food produced is lost after harvest, and another 19% is wasted at consumer and retail levels. These figures highlight systematic inefficiencies across every stage of the urban food system. So why does it matter? Economically, they increase costs for farmers, traders, and municipalities, all of whom shoulder the burden of inefficiencies along the food chain. Socially, food waste in cities exists side by side with hunger and malnutrition. Redistributing or preventing waste can redirectly or directly improve access to nutritious food. Environmentally, the impact is also quite stark. Organic waste in landfills is one of the largest sources of methane, and reducing food loss and waste isn't just a food system issue, but it is a climate, public and health issue and urban resilience issue as well. Why are cities central to this discussion? One of the strongest themes from our interviews is that once cities are already at the center of the loss and waste challenge and the opportunity, these cities manage markets, oversee waste systems, regulate food environments, and maintain infrastructure. These are all points where food is lost or wasted. That means municipalities have both the mandate and the leverage to influence change immediately. Cities are also becoming hubs of innovation, even with limited resources. They're piloting technologies, testing alternative waste systems, building partnerships, and driving behavioral change faster than national systems often can. Food loss and waste as an entry point for systems change. What practitioners consistently told us is that food loss and waste is a practical and politically workable starting point. It's a challenge that everyone recognizes, from farmers to retailers to waste pickers to consumers. And once cities begin acting on food loss and waste, these actions often unlock bigger reforms. You see changes and improvement in cold storage, safer and cleaner markets, better handling practices, and circular economy initiatives like composting or biogas. In short, tackling food loss and waste becomes a gateway to strengthening the entire urban food system. So looking ahead toward 2050, the implications of reducing food loss and waste are profound. Cutting losses and waste would reduce the strain on landfills, dramatically lowering methane emissions and making food chains more stable and efficient. It would then ease pressure on producers, safeguard nutrition, as well as help cities meet their climatic goals. It's one of the clearest opportunities we have to improve food security while simultaneously advancing environmental and economic priorities. So this brings us to the real world examples. The research that we did featured around 10 cases from very different contexts, from waste to feed enterprises in Tanzania to gleaning networks in Spain. But today we'll look closely at two. Kibuye, specifically focusing on Kenya, where we'll be looking into three markets: Kibuye, Obunga, Pabuta, and Jubilee Market in Kisumu. This is where traders, city officials, and universities have collaborated to turn market waste into compost, biogas, and animal feed. And I will let Dr. Michael Oloko go more in depth with that and share some few insights as well as takeaways. Prof. Oloko, if you are ready, you can please go ahead. You are on mute.
Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay,
Can
let
hear you
me
now.
share my screen. I'm using two gadgets. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Or do you mind putting it in full screen if you're able to?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. I hope everyone can hear me. You've heard my name, Professor Michael Oloko. I'm a researcher at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. I've done quite a lot of work in Kisumu within the urban system, looking at issues of waste management and the general basic services that the urban residents would require. And this time, I'm within the AfriFood Links project, which is a huge team, and we've been working on a number of issues. And of course, Sarah, we picked up from some of the issues that we had discussed before. And my presentation today would concentrate on the activities of the AfriFood Links that we are undertaken alongside other partners, just to demonstrate and show the initiatives and the strategies that we're having in Kisumu that we feel are quite important to be taken note of when we are addressing food loss and waste. And just want to show you how the team is constituted. The AfriFood Links team, we have the JOST team, which is fairly huge, quite a number of people from the university. And then Kisumu team, which we are working together with policymakers from the county government and the city of Kisumu. As part of the AfriFood Links team, we have the African Population and Health Research Center. We also have the Women in Sustainable Enterprises, that is WISE. Then we are working in collaboration with the county government of Kisumu and mainly Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock and Irrigation. Also the city of Kisumu through the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And we have acquired new partners, Food Bank in Kenya, in some of the strategies, and we're working together with them. University of Nairobi has also come in handy. We are having the World Resources Institute, the Food and Land Use Coalition, Retail Traders Association of Kenya, RITRAC, and the traders and residents of Kisumu City. The reason why I list the partners is just to see sometimes it's very difficult to bring different partners with different mandates and focus to work together. But this has been deliberately designed, and we have deliberately worked on this, and we are able to work on this. So it is interesting to see what is it that brings all these partners together, which we are bringing in one of our initiatives as something that needs to be shared. Another outline of my presentation, we have the global food loss and waste, which Sarah, you've outlined very clearly, so I will take very little on that. Then there's also the call to action, which shows how the global partners, players have really gotten the attention of food loss and waste, and how they are working on it at the global level, and how it is being cascaded downwards. But what is important is that food loss and waste is a global focus. So, and then why action on food loss and waste matters. I think you've also outlined that, the magnitude and hotspots of food loss and waste in Kenya, and Kisumu just got over that. And then urban dynamics, then I'll look at what is happening in Kisumu, then drivers and causes of food loss and waste, which we have also outlined, and the opportunities for reducing food loss and waste. So apart from those global issues and statistics, which are known, we are going to concentrate on initiatives to reduce food loss and waste in Kisumu, which is going to show our initiatives and what we are doing in Kisumu. One of them is how we are focusing on the food dialogues in one of the slides, and the other slide will be on one of the multi-stakeholder platform, how it is constituted, how we are strengthening it. And then we are also focusing on the community of practice, which is an initiative of the AfriFood Links, and which is now bringing the discussion to some higher level. Then we are going to see how our work now is contributing towards policies, regulations, and guidelines. So we are isolating those components, 5 components, as initiatives that we are working on in Kisumu. The global food loss and waste, you have outlined this properly. And then we all know 30% of the food loss that is produced globally is lost, and broken down as 13%, 19%. And we are seeing huge quantities in terms of billions of tons of food that is wasted. And from that, we can just assume if each person probably can consume maybe 2 kilograms per day, and from the billions of tons of food that is being wasted, then we see that over 2 billion people in the world could be suffering. And statistics has it that 2.3 billion are moderately or severely food insecure. We also look at the issues of household that shows that most of the waste and the loss taking place within the household. So drawing attention to what we need to do at that level. And also the effect on the environment, that is greenhouse gas emissions. And what this amounts to overall reduction of in the quantity of food that is available to all of us in the world, and the impacts of that economically, and also within the environment. The effects of that are widespread hunger and malnutrition. We have the nutrition loss, perishable micronutrient-rich food is lost. Economically, we lose because we are putting a lot of our efforts and resources in terms of labor inputs in the wasted portion. Also climate and resource impact on that. Then the global attention here that is now bringing us to the global call to action. We are seeing this is food loss and waste should be taken seriously. We take note of the 29th of September that is celebrated every year by the United Nations as an International Day of Awareness for food waste and loss. So that means it has global attention. We also see the Sustainable Development Goal number 12, that is on responsible consumption and production, which is squarely focusing on food loss and waste, and mainly target 12.3 that requires us to bring by half what we lose by the end of 2030. SDG number 2, which is on zero hunger. Zero is a lack of food or maybe the desire to eat, and you can't get anything to eat. This, we can work on food loss and waste, then we shall also be responding to that. Also poverty in a number of areas, showing how we are deprived in many ways, including how we are not able to get the food that we need. Issues of climate risk in SDG number 13, which is calling us to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. So we find that food loss and waste really has impact. If we work on it, then we shall be creating impact in all of these issues that are catching global attention. Why action on food loss and waste? We know all the benefits that will come with it economically, within the environment, and then working on it also, we realize is creating opportunities for jobs, livelihood, and even financial benefits, because we'll be saving. And as such, working on these innovative ideas or strategies we are calling everyone to action. Is the responsibility of everyone, and that is what we are doing in Kisumu in some of our strategies. I think the statistics there is mainly focusing on what is happening in Kenya, and most to some extent in Kisumu, Kenya are losing 40% of food produced lost compared to the world, which is 30%. So that means Kenya has opportunity to improve and catch up with the rest of the world. And this, in terms of Kenya equivalents of US dollars, what we are losing, and then the contribution to the greenhouse gas emissions. Then the national hotspots, we have also seen specific kinds of food products, maize, which is a staple food in this region. we are losing quite a substantial amount that is produced, that is 20 to 36%, alongside other important crops that we need to save on. So we are talking of 20 to 36% for maize, potatoes, which is also staple, 19 to 22, mangoes, fruit, which is important, avocado, bananas, etc. So we see the percentages of that we lose. Then the Kisumu city hotspots, where is this happening? So major losses occurring within the wholesale and the market handling, especially with the perishable. And then there's lack of cold chain. Certain food products needs to be transported from the time it is harvested in some specific conditions of temperature. And this is not happening with the facilities, with our transport facilities like fish. So as such, we are losing quite a substantial amount of these fruits and vegetables and such perishable crops. Then we also have transport losses. There are no specifically well-designed transport facilities that are able to cater for the food products, so that is also contributing towards the losses. Then the market level losses, limited storage and preservation facilities. So as part of the AfriFood Links team, we are looking at this and seeing opportunities of intervention. So the urban dynamics here, Kisumu has low local food production. So Kisumu mainly is a hub in this region, a critical hub in this region, and it is not able to produce the food that it requires. So imports everything from the surrounding. And there is also widespread food insecurity. 60% of its population living within the informal settlements where they have inadequate infrastructure and services. So food losses occur in all supply chains from production to post-harvest. There's a lot of flooding around the Kisumu area, around the Kano Plains. There's pests and handling and different forms of contamination. The way the food is transported in public transport and how it is packaged, this also causing physical damage. Within our market system, most of our markets are informal, open air, and there are no required facilities that can take care of these food products. So there are issues in the market as well. So the drivers and opportunities for reducing food loss and waste. First, inefficient harvesting and rough handling, poor packaging, limited storage and weak cold chain, outdated processing or low processing capacity, especially in the fish, which is very popular in this region. There's infrastructure gaps in urban markets. In Kisumu, our markets in Jubilee, which is very crowded. We have Kibuye, which is open air, also really crowded, very minimal facilities. And we have Bunga, which is upcoming, extremely informal, not well known to even the policy and the relevant government departments. Then we have the opportunities is taking note of how much we are losing, because you cannot take action if you do not know how much that is being lost. The packaging, the cold chain, drying technology, fruit fly traps, etc., etc. So some of these technologies are in, as they are now, cannot really engage with the required level of efforts that we need to put on food loss and waste. Then we need invest in capacity building. So we need to enlighten people so they know how it's harvesting. They need to sorting to avoid contamination, drying, etc., and how the market should be organized, so relating to governance. So in a way, there are also opportunities to strengthen policy and coordination, because this is also a weak area in Kisumu. So to the main things that we have today is initiatives or strategies to reduce food loss and waste in Kisumu. First is the food dialogue. So food dialogue, collaboration, and alignment of activities is why we have quite a huge team. We are working together, and we know how this is difficult. So there's a deliberate effort by our team to make sure that this remains together. So I can refer to that as a concerted effort and alignment of institutional mandates. We are going to see that how it has enabled us to tackle some of these issues and bring everyone together to mobilize everyone together and create awareness. Then we have the Food Liaison Advisory Council of Kisumu. This is a multi-stakeholder platform. Again, bringing this one together and enabling it, creating a structure for it so that it can function effectively. There is the COP, the community of practice. This is just bringing the discussion beyond our city of Kisumu, taking it to other cities outside Kisumu and even outside the continent. This is an initiative of the Afri-Food Links project. Then the market environment, there is on market grade and food safety and rescue, there are some specific interventions that has also come up in this area. And then apart from that, with the multi-stakeholder platform, we are contributing in some ways towards policy regulations and guidelines. So these concerted efforts that I'm talking about is a matter of bringing everyone together and aligning the institutional mandate so that we can concentrate their efforts together. And I make reference to the the previous International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. So we managed to focus on that so that we can also catch the global attention, the UN attention, which we managed to get that. And then there are also institutions at the national level. They were also interested on that. And then our intention of creating awareness on that and also spreading and coming up with popularizing the initiatives that we had, we managed to do that. So as you can see, we had several TV, radio, and field demonstrations and workshops. As you can see, the first one bringing different stakeholders together. And we have the JUST team, we have the APHRC team, and then we also have those from the Food Banking Kenya. And we also had the radio stations here. We have Franklin and Opio in one of the local radio stations and also in the TV stations. So I can say we had live TV shows, about 3 of them, and several of radio stations bringing different partners together, to the extent that this year's International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste was celebrated in Kisumu, and to reach so many people, spreading the gospel of paying more attention on food loss and waste. So this concerted effort is an initiative that we are going to continue with it so that we are able to bring different partners together for synergy and also for the benefits of everyone. Yeah, because then every institution is interested in this. Then we also have the Food Liaison Advisory Council of Kisumu. This is multi-stakeholder platform bringing different stakeholders within Kisumu together to discuss and share experiences. So we have managed to work with the government department, which is the mandated department to act on issues of food in terms of policy and regulations. And we are, as the academia, we are working with them. We also have those from the community and the civil societies and other stakeholders. So when we are working together so that there is mutual benefits, because every stakeholder has interest in this, and we must derive that benefit from them. So when we are looking at FLAP, specific things that we did was defining membership, who should be a member of this. In our meetings, people are examining themselves as to whether you have interest within the urban food system, either you're a trader or something like that. That is when then your interest or it can be attractive to you. So membership, we are looking into that. So, and also we've developed a constitution to show how it should function. So we have established a 26-member steering committee with 7-member secretariat. This was not there before. And the the FLAC is hosted within the County Department of Agriculture because that is the mandated government department. And this we are doing because at the end of the project, we know the organizations that will be represented to be able to continue with its processes because it is within their mandate. They have budget allocations and they're planned for it. So ours is just to reinforce them. And also the constitution of this 26-member board has been strategically done so that we get the critical stakeholders within Kisumu as representatives there. And the 7-member secretariat led by the academy, the stakeholders, and the department. And the fact that it is hosted within the County Department of Agriculture will make it continue even after the project. So in this, we've been having quite a number of meetings with the stakeholders. We've had, from 2023, we have had over 11 multi-stakeholder platform meetings. We are participating in the food dialogues and contributing towards policy reviews and formulation. And then now on the AfriFoodLink COP, that is the urban food system. So through the AfriFoodLinks project, we have also come up with the urban food systems community of practices. Of practice, so age and experiences and network at international level. So had quite a number of webinars on issues that are related to food loss and waste. We've had webinar on food policies, on sustainable use of agro, biodiversity, webinar on governance for food system transformation in African cities, webinar on food environment as an entry point to transform food system. This was led by APHRC and the AfriFoodLinks team working on food environments. And then we also have we also had a webinar on AfriFoodLinks Living Labs, what they are and how they can foster donor engagement. So on the community of practice, this is something that is we are continuing, and there's a link for registration. It can be shown if you go to the AfriFoodLinks website. You'll find the link, and you can register, and you're given opportunity to share some of your experiences on urban food system and food loss and waste that relates to governance, etc., etc. So we expect that this is going to take the discussion beyond the city levels to international levels. So while the MSP is concentrating at the city levels, the COP will be getting experiences outside the city. Our next webinar is is in December, and I will still be discussing integrated food system, but with partners, not within the AfriFoodLinks, but with partners who have gained interest from who have had interest in being members of the COP. Another initiative is the market upgrade, food safety and rescue. So the focus here is improving the food environment for urban consumers. So in this, we can see in Obunga, as you can see, there is the 15-ton cold room in Obunga fish market to minimize fish loss. So that is an intervention. And there is more work that is continuing on that, training on vendors on food safety and developing the food handling manual. So that is continuing, but the cold room is up and working. It uses both mains electricity and solar solar power. So and then on food rescue and redistribution, food rescue and redistribution intervention pilot. There's a pilot in Kisumu led by one of our partners, the Food Bank in Kenya. So what they're doing is collecting surplus food from the local markets, Kibuye, Uhuru, and Jubilee, and redistributing to where it is needed. There is Mama Ngina Children's home. The children that are needy, they need food. So if there is good food that is being wasted from these markets, then they have really partnered with us. This is on pilot, and we hope it is going to be upscaled. So is in a way is matching the rescued food with real-time community needs. So as you can see there, we have the cold room, the 15-ton cold room on above, on top there. And then down there, we have the International Day of awareness of food loss and waste. We have the rescue champions. So these are traders within the markets that are working in this pilot project, collecting excess food that they have in their markets that would otherwise go to waste, and they are taken to these institutions that need it. So there is that collaboration that they're doing together with the Ministry of Health to make sure that what they are doing is good for their health. And then there is contribution towards policies and regulations. So with all these interventions, there is need to have policies that can bind them together. So apart from those interventions, we are also working on specific policies. And within the MSP flag, we have prioritized the review of Kisumu Food System Strategy 2023-2027 that we are working on, amongst other issues that relate to policies and regulations, including food market governance, which is also critical in places like Kisumu. So after this, then we are going to move step by step and see how we can continuously work with the county government of Kisumu and the city of Kisumu on those. Then there is also development of national food redistribution guidelines. This is done by RETRAC, Retail Traders Association of Kenya. This is also not initially a member of AfriFood Links project, but because we have aligned our mandates, we are working together with them. So they have developed the guidelines. It has been reviewed, validated, and is being piloted in headquarters within the major supermarkets, main supermarkets. Then the development of food safety manual for fish markets. So after coming up with the cold storage in Obunga, then there is need to train the women traders on how they can manage food safety manual, how they can manage the cold room, and how they can handle the fish. So this manual is also led by the AfriFood Link, the APHRC partners. Then we have food loss and waste quantification, which we also need to know how much we are losing, how much we can save. This is also going on in Kibuye, and with the partners, University of Nairobi, APHRC. So we are working together on that. So there is also, it's focusing on the fish waste in Obunga fish market, and evaluating the impact of the cold room, and also within the markets, wastage in fruits, vegetables, including wet markets, and wastage of dry processed food supplements. So as part of our campaign, we've also gone to the newspapers and showing how we can spread this news and how we can catch everyone's attention on that. So thank you so much for listening. So those are the initiatives we have in Kisumu. Asante, thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you, Prof. Oloko. This was an amazing presentation and really showcased what it looks like when you collaborate with all these different stakeholders and what can come out of it. I have questions, of course, but we have a moment for that. So instead of going too much into that and unpacking that, we'll move on to our next presenter or keynote or key speaker, Mr. Marco de Milato, who will be speaking on not only the Zatari refugee camp, which is one of the cases we focused on with our research, but also adding on to that with the work that he's been doing with colleagues in Amman. With the Zatari camp, what was the main interesting thing around this was just how it was around, making use of community to create this circular waste management system. And that led into a pilot project that, focused on composting, biogas, and as well as leading into bringing in buy-in from the government there. But instead of going too deep into that, I will hand over to Mr. Demilato, and he will give us insights around the work that has been going in that region or in that space.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, I want to thank for this opportunity for sharing our experience, but also compliment for this very interesting series of webinars that are sharing light information on this very critical topic like food loss and waste. I'm glad to present here some of the main findings of our intervention in Jordan. Let me try to share my screen. I hope you can see it. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I will skip the relevance of similar activities and the importance of intervening on food waste and loss, because I think we've been discussing this in the last 1 hour. I just go straight to our project. It was a response to refugee crisis. As you can see, this is the map of Jordan. Our intervention area was here in the Zaatari camp, and as you can see from the blue color is one of the area in Jordan with the highest number of Syrian refugees. And one of the main challenges that we identify affecting the Syrian refugees were economic hardship, like limited employment, opportunities and poverty, as well as access to basic services like healthcare, education, houses, legal and administrative issues, so legal status, protection concern, as well as discrimination and social tension. These are quite common, I would say, in many crises where we have refugees, not only in Jordan, but also in many other countries and regions at global level. What are the key areas and the key focus thematic areas of our project? You will see later, we will have an element of renewable energy. We have an element of livelihoods, particularly through green job, grants, cash for work. We have an element of waste management and compost, as well as forestry and natural resource management, technical training, awareness and policies, as well as water harvesting and water treatment. We did this project in collaboration with several stakeholders. The donor was the European Union, but we had Italian cooperation, Japan Embassy, Norway, Spain, the main government partner, Minister of Agriculture, Environment and Water, and several UN agencies and academia and research centers, universities, and government and private research centers. Let's focus a bit more now on the circular economy model that we implemented and piloted inside a refugee camp. As you can see from this image here, we start from the raw material. Raw material for us are two main intake: is solid waste as well as sludge. This sludge is from the wastewater treatment plant. We have a collection point, and from the collection point, we have three main raw material that we are considering: the sludge, the solid waste, and the water. Now, the sludge that is coming from the wastewater treatment plant, we managed to transform it. We built a biogas station. You can see the images here. We built the biogas station and we transformed the sludge into biogas. Then we were also able to transform this biogas into electricity. And this is now the first flow from sludge to biogas to electricity. Now let's go to the second element. We also use solid waste, mixed waste from market, from house. Sometimes we get a waste which is sorted at source, sometimes is mixed, sometimes is not from market, it's from household. What we do, we have manual sorting facility, which is this hangar that you see here that we built. We have manual sorting. And the solid waste goes either to recycling centers where we recycle metal, paper, plastic, glass, whatever is possible to recycle it. We have an agreement with NGOs and they proceed with this with recycle. Then we do the sorting and we separate the organic waste. And from the organic waste, we produce compost. Now the remaining, and only the remaining, goes to the landfill. And this is the non-recyclable only, okay? So mainly through these activities, we are able to recycle everything that is recyclable and then transform the organic waste into the compost. Now let's go to the third element, which is water. Water, again, from the wastewater treatment plant, we treat that water. Well, it's not us, but the treatment plant proceed with the treatment process, and then we recycle the treated water for irrigation, okay? Now we have, from the raw material, we are now here. We have clean water, we have compost, and we have electricity. Oh, sorry, let me go back. And we have electricity. So our question was, okay, what do we do now? We have electricity for free coming out of sludge. We have compost free coming out of organic waste, and we have water. So we came up with an idea of coming up with a greenhouse, a nursery, a tree nursery. Okay, so we built nearby our station a greenhouse, and we started seedling production. And of course, we discussed it, which kind of seedling. We came up with the decision of focusing on seedling that could be relevant for the livelihood of the nearby community, as well as for reforestation of degraded areas around the refugee camp. So from the seedling production, then we go and we start this trees, fodder, and food production and rehabilitation of forests nearby. So now, as you see, from raw material, where we started, that is a burden, polluting, expensive material to manage, we came up with a very positive circular economy model, which is at the final end generating trees and generating rehabilitation opportunities for the host community and for the country at large. So this is, in a nutshell, our circular economic model, which is very successful, and we hope to be able to scale up and hopefully replicate in other areas. There are several countries that are shown interest, Syria, Bangladesh, even some other, I think Uganda was contacting us through UNICEF to replicate similar model in other refugee camp or outside refugee camp. What are now the main benefits? As you may understand, a similar system promote responsible production and consumption, support rural development and circular economy, restore ecosystem and biodiversity at the final end, reduce, and this is very important, was actually our first main goal, reduce chemical waste and pollution, and then help mitigate and adapt to climate change. I would like to share maybe a video where we can appreciate also some of the voices from beneficiaries. Let me see if you can you see the video?
Yes, we can see the video.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the sound as well?
No, we do not have the sound.
Okay, but okay, there will be subtitle. Sorry, I think this is the
I
Arabic
would also
version. Let me see if
suggest,
this is the English version. Yeah.
Okay, I would also suggest maybe you stop sharing and restart. And when you start sharing, there should be a little box at the bottom of that main screen for sharing that can allow you to optimize for video and sound. So once you click share at the bottom of that pop-up, there should be an option to do that.
Okay, so this was just to uh, show some images, some videos, and also some of the uh, faces of the people that benefited from this project. And I would like to add one aspect, and Fadi is here with me, my colleagues. Some of the beneficiaries that benefited from this initial phase of the project actually are going back now that the situation in Syria is slowly normalizing, are going back, and we are receiving requests to support them to keep um, implementing similar project in Syria, or they would like to do it by themselves, or they would like to establish at community level. So this is very encouraging, and also a great satisfaction from us, but mainly from them, that they learn skills that are replicable. They will be able to get an income out of it once they are back in Syria, and hopefully they will also contribute to a better environment in their communities. Some key facts: we were able to create green job and livelihoods opportunity for refugees and host community.
Apologies,
Approximately.
Marco. Can I please disrupt you for a second? Your screen
Yes.
is zoomed in. Would you be able to just zoom out just a little bit so that we can see your full slide? Right now, I think we
Yeah.
only see a quarter of your slide.
1 second. What about now?
You see the whole thing. Oh,
Can
it
you
seems
see?
that it's just on my, it seems that it's just on my side. I think
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry
I
for
can
that.
see the whole.
sorry about that.
No problem. Sorry about that. I hope you'll fix it. Anyway, I will share my presentation later. So approximately 1,500 people benefited from this intervention. We reduced the waste by 25%, which is a very good amount. We built the capacity of 100 engineers and researchers. We reduced the frequency and the cost of waste tracking to the landfill, and 962 metric tons were harvested from the flow camp to the landfill. We generate green energies and trees. 20,000 trees were produced in a year. And then we produce compost for greening the environment, approximately 165 metric tons yearly. So this is some of the key facts. Of course, we also had a component on policy, regulation, and guideline where we were work together with national stakeholder, Ministry of Water, Energy, and Agriculture to improve the regulation of the country to use the compost, but mainly to use the treated biosolid, so the treated sludge, which is biosolid in the agricultural sector. This is something that we are still pursuing and working with our stakeholder. I will skip for the sake of time some of these photos because you saw them in the video, but this is just to show you the phases. It starts from here as a raw material, it goes, as you can see, this is still raw, and then at the end, this is the almost final product, and then we packed the compost in bags, and then the bags is given either to NGOs and community organization in the camp or outside the camp, or given to the Ministry of Agriculture, where they use it in their nursery and agricultural activities, or it is used in our greenhouse facility to produce seedling. We also have other initiatives on zero food loss and waste in Jordan. They were implemented and supervised by my colleague Fadi. And these were mainly now to support policy assessment and support the Ministry of Agriculture. And it is estimated that 22% of locally produced fruits and vegetables are lost in Jordan. But again, this information are a bit scattered and we don't have many data. And in any case, the figures are quite alarming, especially in a country that is under huge deficiency of water and energy. So we started this project of food loss assessment, and the objective of the food loss assessment were mainly to know the scale and the impact of food loss, the factors contributing to food loss and hotspots, benefits of addressing food loss and opportunity, and the policy implication and future direction. We focus on potatoes, onions, and lemon. We also had a community outreach where we distribute 170 composting units to individual farmers as well as to CBOs. And we gave them also capacity building and training on the use of organic compost. We also implemented farm business school and farm field school with these communities with the aim of increasing their technical knowledge, build business management skills, create linkages between farmer and other stakeholders, including private sector, and then also promoting the idea of value chain to increase the added value of shelf life for their agricultural products. We were also supporting food processing and innovation at house level and also small farmer level through beneficiary grant modality. We were giving grants to them, of course, coming with technical capacity building and training. And again, the grants that we were giving them were focused and aiming at enhancing the value chain of different products to increase the net profit, reduce the losses by producing products with the longer shelf life, and then supporting the resilience of small farmers in the rural areas. We had also another activities. This was in collaboration with the Milan Urban Food Policy Act and another organization which is called Let's Food Association. And we were linking 5 Jordanian municipalities with the Milan municipality to address the issue of food loss and waste, and building their capacity in this area and support them to prepare a tailored plan for each municipality. And there was a very intensive and fruitful exchange between the Milan municipality, which is championing on this Urban Food Policy Pact, together with these 5 municipalities in Jordan. And of course, this was aiming at controlling reduced food and loss and waste, but also conducting field assessment of food loss and waste, reviews existing literature, and working with local experts, having field observation and multi-stakeholder workshop. This component is not yet completed. Well, it's completed, but we are trying to scale it up, mobilizing resources to be able to increase the number of municipalities to be linked with Milan municipality and the Urban Food Policy Act, as well as increase the activities with them. As a FAO, we are also working in a publication and policies that can support, and studies, analysis that can support not only Jordan, but the entire region. So this is just some of the recent publications that you can find in our website that share very interesting finding, data, recommendation, observation, case studies on how to reduce food loss and waste in the region, which I'm sure can be replicated in other countries like Kenya or Asia and South America. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Marco. Again, another amazing presentation. I will give the floor to anyone who might have any comments or questions.
And Fadi, yes, I don't know if I missed something, but Fadi is here with me and he is able also to complement in case I missed something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco. Actually, we have a common project with Kenya. And now, still, we didn't start it yet with it. It's funded by ICE, the Italian government, through our colleagues in the headquarters, where we work in 3 countries, Jordan, Kenya, and Uzbekistan, to see the experience in different countries. The project still in the approval phase from the government of Jordan. I don't know the status of the project in Kenya. So it would be an entry point for any collaboration or scaling up or exchange knowledge more and more.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And cross finger for this project. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Anesu Makina. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for that presentation. I popped the question in the chat, but my question was, what are the gender dynamics of the projects in terms of the experiences of maybe women and youth? Because sometimes with waste projects, women are sometimes excluded, or in some cases, they struggle to participate effectively because of association with waste and gender issues and cleanliness. So I just want to find out what some of those dynamics might be, and of course, how you solve them. Thank you.
Is this for both projects, Anesu?
No, just the one in Jordan.
Okay. Mark,
Yes.
I'll let you take on that question.
Okay. Thank you. This is a very interesting question. Actually, at the beginning of the project, we have some reluctancy from women to participate, to be engaged in this project for the very reason that you mentioned. Okay, working on waste is not appealing and it was not easy. And so we started with a small number, and we couldn't believe it. After a few months, we were starting receiving a huge request, a demand from other women that they wanted to work in our site. Why? Why do they want it? What changed in the first few weeks or a month of the pilot activities? Well, the main element were two. Number one, they saw the safety measure that we put in place while working in the site. Okay, so they saw that the work was safe. They have gloves. They put in place all the possible safety measure and hygienic solution to ensure that our activities were not only gender friendly, but also the youth and the men that were working there. We were very much cautious of any health issue. Then there was a second element that, to be honest, was an indirect benefit, was not intended, but was very positive. And the reason is this project was implemented inside the refugee camp. So they could work inside the refugee camp, which is easily accessible. Do not spend funds for transportation outside the camp, and they will be able to also reach home back after work in a very short time. While if they have to work outside, there is an issue of safety. There is an issue of extra cost to reach the job location, which is usually in the agricultural environment, because they are allowed to work only in the agricultural environment. And then extra time to go back from the job place to their home in the refugee camp. Okay, usually coming out in the dark in the evening, going back in the dark in the morning hour. So the duration of their staying outside the house was much longer when they had to work outside. And you may understand that once they come back, they still have, unfortunately, to take care of many other responsibilities and duties inside the home, taking care of their children, etc., cooking for their food, etc. So they actually really appreciate and demanding, requesting to work in our center because of all these reasons. And then, of course, this is a stable income for them, because fortunately, unfortunately, the waste is a stable material that we receive and that we need to manage, while agricultural activities was not stable. The job offer that they get outside the camp, as you may understand, follow certain seasonalities of the agricultural sector. Okay, so most probably they were very much engaged in the spring and in the summertime and less engaged in the winter time. So they have regular employment, safe, clean, constant, next to their houses, and of course with certain benefit that FAO could provide to them that they could not obtain in the agricultural sector outside. So this was at the end, the gender aspect and the impact were actually much far than what we were initially expecting it. And the large majority of our beneficiaries were female. Only few male were recruited just to manage the biogas and to manage the certain component of the compost. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you,
Yes, thank you so
Marco. Sorry, Anessa, you wanted to add something?
No, I was just saying thank you for the detailed answer. Very interesting.
All right. Yes, indeed, very interesting, and it touches on so many elements. Yes, Ivan, I'll let you go in.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks, colleagues, both for the very interesting presentations in I think such different contexts. My question is specifically around the bylaws or policy interventions that local governments can take in order to curb food loss and waste. My question is to both of the presenters. Just drawing on examples from, for example, Cape Town, where there's a zero waste to landfill policy, and cities such as Bangkok, where they are charging big hotels and restaurants the waste collection based on the weight, so that incentivized a lot of these major food wasters, so to speak, to reduce their food waste and to take initiative to reduce this. In your work in either Jordan or maybe Kisumu, is there a component of working with the local government to develop ordinances or bylaws to curb food waste, or most of the interventions quite practical, such as the interventions that you've showed at the markets or with the biogas digester? Just curious for either of the speaker to reflect maybe on some policy tools that you're working on.
Yes, thank you. I can add some, and then I don't know if Fadi wants to add something on the recent work that we are doing with Milan, but certainly the major efforts that we had in the past at policy regulation level was at liberalizing the compost production markets, as well as improving and updating the guidelines for recycling the sludge, which is not food, but is linked, as you saw in our project, to food system. Now, the sludge is very stringent because of healthy issues. At the same time, technologies has tremendously improved in many countries on the treatment of sludge. And treatment of sludge in many countries like Spain, Italy, Canada, United States, or Australia, or even in the region, allow now to treat the sludge and to use it as a fertilizer for the agricultural purpose. In Jordan, unfortunately, this aspect is strictly regulated, and the country is not allowed to use sludge in the agricultural sector. So we were trying to work on new regulation, bringing data, researches, case study from other countries, and also inform about the new technology that are there to be able to treat the sludge. And if not for the production of food, at least to production either of fodder or rehabilitation of dry lands, rangeland, or forest, okay? Because still, we are speaking about raw material that in other countries has a value, is basically purchased, is traded from one country to another, because people and countries or private sector buy sludge to treat it and resell it. So it's a business, while here is an extra cost, where they can now recall the yearly expenditure of sludge management, while in other country, actually people is looking for buying it, transforming it, and selling it. So this was our major policy engagement with the government. The second one is production of compost. Who is allowed to do the compost? Where? Where are we allowed to take the food, use it, transform it into compost, and then selling it or not? Unfortunately, the regulation in some countries are very strict. Okay, so you can do composting only if there is separation at source, for example, or only in vegetable market, on only government agencies, etc. While what we were recommending is to share the knowledge, to produce compost in a very safe way, and by anyone, by any farmer, and not only by government institution, only next to recycling center or market. Okay, this should be done at farmer level, at school level, at market level, by farm, household, individual, government institution, research center, CBOs, NGOs. Unfortunately, we still have this restriction, which we understand are made to ensure safety, but at the same time, we are not able to increase the percentage of recycled food if we don't liberalize and open the possibility for anyone to produce compost and thus recycling the food. So this is, at least for the project I was supervising, the two major components that we were working on in terms of policy and regulation and guideline. Thank you.
I would like to add more as well, because I engaged in the urban areas for food loss and waste. FAO in Jordan supported the government to include food loss and waste in the action plan for food security strategy with a traceable indicator. As well as building a system to trace and measure food loss index, as well as a training Department of Statistics and the colleagues from Ministry of Water, Ministry of Agriculture as well on this system and how to trace it, to report it, to see how the things go by time. As well as FAO and WFP, because WFP in Jordan working in food waste and FAO working in both. We supported the government of Jordan to build and establish a committee, separated committee for food loss and waste, reported to the High Counselor for Food Security, led by the Prime Minister of Jordan. This committee consists of different governmental bodies, from the Minister of Environment, the Minister of Water, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Education, Department of Statistics, with other local CPOs, where we support as well as 24 local community-based organizations to create a union for food loss and waste, to involve the committee, to involve different governorate to reduce food loss and waste. Yes.
Thank you both, Fadi and Marco, for that. Mr. Oloko, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Just to add on something small on what my colleagues have said on policy intervention. In our engagement with the policymakers and every other stakeholders, what is guiding us is the fact that the policies should be encouraging each of the partners to do what he or she is doing best, so that the policy should not discourage traders from enabling them to do their activities in a better way. The traders, the policy should not be one that is discouraging even the farmers to continue producing food that we really need. But what we have seen in most of our cases is that sometimes the policies, as they are made, only one stakeholder's interest is being taken care of, and quite a number of other stakeholders are not taken care of. So it becomes difficult for the policy to be implemented. So we are experiencing that, and that is why now we are bringing all the stakeholders together to discuss this issue. In Kisumu right now, what has been prioritized in our case is a review of the Food System Strategy 2023-2027. So this, we are bringing various stakeholders, not only the policymakers in this case. So as they review this, they understand why certain areas they have not made good progress. And in that way, they can agree on how to move forward. We've had several cases where different policies conflict, where there are so many, for example, licensing processes that are really burdening the stakeholders. So in one way or the other, the policies cannot be implemented, and the stakeholders tend to appear to avoid them. but we want the policies to be encouraging them, to be protecting them. Yeah, so this is why we need their views in so doing. So I can just say that even apart from that, in Kisumu, there are issues to do the market management policy. Market management policies is about management of how these products come in, and issues to do with even the facilities, management of the facilities within the market system, the leadership, etc., etc. So even though the policy is not directly focusing on food loss and waste, but a robust management and efficient market management would ensure that the food loss and waste is really really tackled, because sometimes a farmer, producer would come with the products, but because of difficulties and not adhering to certain procedures which are not practical, so the products are not allowed into the market, and therefore it would all just go to waste, just like that, because then there's some procedures that were conflicting. So we are harmonizing that, and that is why we are bringing them together. There's also the food safety bylaws, which the Kisumu people are working on right now, though we have not prioritized that, but we also feel that as members of the multi-stakeholder platform, FLAC, so either directly or indirectly, we shall be participating in that process. At the national level, with the new intervention of food rescue and redistribution, we need to make sure that the food that is being redistributed is safe. Is safe. We identify where it is supposed to be taken, but it must also meet the health standards. So the partners that we have, that is the RETRAC, Retail Traders Association of Kenya, and the APHRC, African Population Health and Research Center, which are partner within the AfriFood Links, they are working together with the partners to make sure that the national food redistribution guidelines are done and are successful. And currently, as I mentioned, the guideline has been developed, being reviewed, and is being validated, especially with the major supermarkets in Nairobi. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Oloko. I think as we close off, one of the main key highlights that I'm getting out of these discussions, as well as when we were doing the research, is how important collaboration is, but even more so how making use of food loss and waste as an entry point really unravels a lot of other issues as well, and brings in so many other initiatives that tackle other parts of the food system. I think this has been a very informative and interesting conversation, and the presentations brought forward also just showcase how much of an undertaking it is to manage food loss and waste within the various cities. I'll hand over to Jakuru as we're nearing our time.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I think I'll start off by just seconding everything that you've said, and to also then thank both of our speakers, Prof. Michael, as well as Marco. I think your presentations were very insightful. And before we close off, I just want to share a few highlights that I also captured as the session went on. I think some of the stats that were shared are very important, and I think for everyone here, these might be familiar numbers that we constantly refer to, but obviously, when we think of 13% of post-harvest loss and 19% at the consumer level, we see quite a small portion there. But if we imagine it in the tonnage, as Prof. Michael had shared in his slide, that's imagining 1.25 billion tons of waste sitting in front of us. Is quite a lot of waste and a huge job that needs to be done, which underscores the importance of having discussions such as these and taking action toward addressing these issues. And I think what I liked about the presentations was the focus on actions that are being taken in each of the two contexts, but also a highlight on on thinking beyond just managing the waste, but also how we can valorize that. I think that was also a really cool and interesting example. Perhaps in future discussions, we might hear from Michael around which of the strategies he presented that have been implemented in Kisumu is actually working, from the on-the-ground interventions in markets to the policy actions. It would be very interesting to see where key impact and action is required in order to move the needle in terms of addressing food loss and waste. Thank you so much, everyone, for having joined us in today's session, and we are looking forward to seeing you in future Network Cities sessions. Please keep an eye out in your emails for updates on when our next sessions will take place. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jokudo.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.